How to create branches? That's the git branch command. You will just create a name for the current commit that's checked out. You can check out the branch by just git check at developer Olympus. Question? No question? Okay. You can commit that, you can check out another branch with git checkout develop, for example, and then merge it. So when we come to this whole notion of a DAG, why I tell you this, why I tell you how Git orders the commits, the data structure behind, is mostly because we had a problem yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yes. That can happen when you develop things, and this means what happened was that we created we committed, and we pushed to the GitHub server, and GitHub told us this push is rejected. So push is just the meaning that you synchronize your repository with the upstream repository by pushing your changes that are new in your repository over to the other server. And what GitHub told us was this push is rejected because it's not a fast forward. So I want to introduce the notion of fast forward in Git. What does it mean? Let's assume we have this line of commits on the local machine and on the server. And you will notice that the blue commit on the server does not exist on the local machine. So what happens if you try to push this change set? So a push will basically figure out that this is a commit new to the local repository that does not exist on the server. So it will try to transfer this commit over to the server. But it will notice that the server contains a commit that is not on the local side, not on the local repository. So it was this is what is a non-fast forward. If the repository on the server side is not a subset of your repository, basically. So this will be rejected. So what do you need to do? What you need to do is you have to get the commit from the server first, then you can push your changes. So what you will do is you will get the commit here by pulling, but just hit pull from here, and then you will create a merge, and then you can push it. Merge, by the way, is just a commit that has two parity. That's all about merges. And then you can push it. So what you have to remember here is if you ever run into the problem, and you will definitely run into the problem that you have a non-fast forward, go and pull first. You pull, and then you can push again. So we have repositories that are local, which are easy because you can just git clone, you have a local repository, you can commit to it. You have remote repositories. Remote repositories are just storage for you, like repositories where you can push your changes to when you have a wire connection, like a wire internet connection. And there's a command git remote where you can add remote repositories. So this is just that your local repository remembers that there are other repositories in the internet and the wild where you can push to. And you will use the git remote command, and then you can just pull from this repository by the pull Bob and then a branch, for example, and you can push to somewhere else whenever you want. So if that's not, if you're not confused by now, you will probably now because Who of you have ever taken a look at the branching model of phpBB? Like this, there's a fancy graphics which is really hard to understand. I will try to explain it to you why this graphic is the way it is. So the first time Niels and I sat down and tried to figure out how the branching model for phpBB what might be a good branching model for phpBB, we searched a little bit on the internet and we found this graphic, which is from a website describing this more or less the same branching model. And it took us quite a while, I think, to figure out what's going on. And I will try to explain it to you. So what do you need for this? You need to understand what is a directed acyclic graph. So how branches work in Git, and that's all you have to know. So I will give you a very, very brief overview about the general idea, and then we go into the details of this whole branching model. So what we have three branches, main branches in PHP three development. It's the master branch, it's the develop Olympus branch, and it's the develop branch. The first problem is that most of the people that come from Subversion and know the notion of a trunk expect that the master branch is the branch where the development is going on, which is not quite true for PHP 3. In fact, on the master branch there is no development at all. So what do these branches do? The development branch is the easiest branch because it's the branch where you develop, where you push commits to, where you add new features. Develop Olympus is the 3.0 line where you push bug fixes to. And what's the master branch for? The master branch just reflects the latest release. So if you check out the master branch, you will just get the latest release of phpBB. It will be a little bit more complex once the develop branch will be released, but that's a different story. So the interesting part that I will focus on at the moment is develop Olympus. So what happens if we prepare a release, if we work on a branch, if we do bug fixes there. So we do bug fixes on develop Olympus. And then after a while we realize, okay, we might be able to push a release in the next time. So let's start and get into the release cycle. So we start with an RC1 or whatever, or beta or whatever. So, but there might be fixes in the Olympus branch, like for this 3.0 branch, that we do not 100%, that we are not 100% sure if we want to push this into the next release, but we know that it will be definitely part of 3.0. So that's why there will be a new branch, which is the prepared release branch. And this branch is just there to contain commits that will be indefinite, that will be 100% in the next patch release of phpBB. So this is where bug fixes go into. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is where bug fixes go into that will be part of the next 3.0 release. While the develop Olympus is still open for bug fixes, that will be probably be part of the release after the next 3.0 release. So now you have commits, like for example, this commit, which is a part of the prepared release branch. So, but it's not part of the develop Olympus branch, which does not make really sense because you really want to have all bug fixes in all newer versions. So what you need to do is what you need to do is you have to merge from time to time this branch into this to synchronize those branches and to make sure that every commit that is on this branch And every change that is on this branch will be part of this branch too. That's what you do with the merge. So that's why we have, first we branch off, and then we'll constantly merge back into develop Olympus until the release is ready. Because when the release is ready, then the master branch comes into and we have to tag the release and merge it to master. And why we have to merge it to master, that's strange because there's a lot of merging ongoing. For the version usually that's too much merging usually. But it's what does it mean is just that we want to have the master version or the master branch reflect the latest release, and that's easy because if we merge this commit into the master branch, well, as said, what is part of the master branch then? Every commit after that, this means exactly those, and this is exactly the latest version that is released. So by merging preferred release into master, we reflect that we make sure that the master branch reflects all changes that are released by the latest release from the release. That is quite complicated. But if you have not understand this, it's not a big issue. But you should, as a phpBB developer, you should pay attention for the next slide because this is how phpBB does bug fixing. And that is also quite tricky for most of the PHP, mostly Subversion users. So bug fixes go to the develop Olympus branch, which is which just contains bug fixes. So, but how do you do a bug fix? The thing is that not all bug fixes that are developed might go into the next version, or at least we want to have some review from other people. So the idea here is, okay, let's see if I push a bug fix to my develop Olympus branch, and then create a new bug fix on top of that, so I have two bug fixes. And then maybe Neil, someone else, reviews this and figures, yes, so the second bug fix is okay, like this is a perfect bug fix, but this is not. So this is the latest version, so we have a problem because it's not possible to merge this change, the second change, into the main repository without merging this change too, but this second change is, like this change is completely broken. So we cannot do it. So what we try to do then is what phpBB tries to do is that it makes sure that every bug fix itself is like separated from other bug fixes. So you can just pick like from a tree, like cherry picking more or less, but picking cherries from a tree so what the bug fixes that you need. And how you do it is easy. It's just you check out the commit and create a branch, and then this branch will be merged in. So the develop Olympus branch really looks like that. Well, this is always a bug fix, and you will have to find the commands to create this on the Git wiki page. So this is the bug branch, for example, bug 1, 2, 3, 4, and while the others, for example, the bug 1, 2, 3, 5, Niels can go and check out your fixes and just pick those who he thinks are good enough for the next version. So.